Hello, very good evening to you. I'm Kelly Foran. Welcome to North West Tonight. Our top story. Luxury cars and a gold-plated dining room, the lavish lifestyle of a fraudster, jailed today for 4 years. Tariq Sawar's son appeared on a reality TV show which helped build the case against him. Also tonight. A miracle, no one was killed, remembering the Manchester IRA bomb 30 years on. Are you up for the Cup? We ask your thoughts on whether England can rule the football world.
Are England going to do it this time?
Probably not, I don't know. Usually it's a bit of a letdown, isn't it? But hopefully we do well, mate. Yeah.
Are England going to win the World Cup?
Of course they are.
From Strictly to the stage, drag star Lavoie comes to Manchester in one of musical's most iconic roles.
And I'll be here at the end of the programme to give you your full weekend forecast.
A disqualified director who committed a £3 million fraud to help bankroll his lavish lifestyle has been jailed today. Tariq Sawar transferred money from the sale of a Salford business park and spent it on luxury cars and a Cheshire mansion which had a gold-plated dining room. His co-defendant, Christopher Francis, was given a suspended sentence for money laundering. Phil Cunliffe sent this from Manchester Crown Court.
Tariq Sawar lived the life of luxury. He owned a 6-bedroom home in Alderley Edge. It had a gold-plated dining room and there were designer products from Versace and Louis Vuitton. But Manchester Crown Court heard today that that wealth was propped up by fraudulent means. As a disqualified company director, the 59-year-old went to great lengths to cover up his tracks over a good number of years before his deceit was finally exposed.
This is many years of work. We've had the pandemic in the way, we've had some issues getting court time, so this has taken lots of people an awful amount of time over many years to get to this conclusion, so we're really pleased with the outcome.
The court was told Sawar controlled a commercial property business on Langley Road in Salford. It was losing money, and HM Revenue and Customs had applied to wind it up over unpaid tax. Fearing it would be shut down, Sawar sold the business in 2018 for £5 million. He then fraudulently transferred more than £3 million from the proceeds of that sale to a food and drinks company controlled by his co-defendant, this man, Christopher Francis. The 40-year-old laundered the funds through a network of accounts and other companies back to Sawar. While creditors went unpaid, Sawar and his family enjoyed a lavish lifestyle in the Cheshire countryside. He owned a number of luxury cars, seen here in the Channel 5 reality TV show Rich Kids Go Skint. It featured Tariq Sawar's son, who we must stress is unconnected to this case and innocent of any wrongdoing. During the show, the son admitted that he'd never been on a bus before and was chauffeured around in a Rolls Royce.
There's a network of companies that worked with him that were disadvantaged. They didn't have their debts, invoices paid. HM Revenue and Customs didn't get the money that was owed to them. And that all goes to public services like hospitals and schools.
Sawar, who'd admitted fraud and 2 counts of acting as a director while disqualified, was jailed for 4 years. The judge said he showed no remorse and told him, "You demonstrated real arrogance, choosing to ignore your disqualification over a long period of time." Francis, who had pled guilty to money laundering, got 25 months suspended for 2 years. Phil Cunliffe, BBC North West Tonight in Manchester.
A 14-year-old girl has been remanded in youth detention after appearing in court charged over a knife attack at a school in North Manchester. The teenager, who can't be named for legal reasons, appeared via video link at Westminster Magistrates Court. 2 pupils and a 27-year-old teacher were injured in the attack at Co-op Academy in Blakely earlier this week. Counter-terror officers are leading the investigation, but Greater Manchester Police say it has not been declared as a terrorist incident at this time. A man in his 20s has been arrested on suspicion of arson after an imam's home in Bolton was firebombed. The fire broke out at the property on East Grove Avenue on Wednesday evening. Those inside managed to escape unhurt. A review of the viability and sustainability of sidecars taking part in the Isle of Man TT in the future is being carried out. The class was suspended from this year's event on safety grounds. That was as a precautionary measure following a crash during qualifying. Right, still to come on North West Tonight. And from Drag Race to Annie via Strictly Come Dancing, we'll be in conversation with Lavoie. Now today, almost 30 years on from the 1996 IRA bombing in Manchester, counter-terrorism police have officially confirmed that the investigation has closed. It was an attack that reshaped the city centre and left lasting questions about responsibility and about justice. Now, as the final chapter of the case is formally brought to an end, Isabel Fry looks back at what happened.
30 years ago, a day that changed Manchester forever. June 1996, an IRA truck bomb explodes in Manchester, devastating the heart of the city centre. Entire streets were destroyed, and against all odds, not a single life was lost.
212 people are injured in the bomb blast which has devastated the centre of Manchester. There is a warning, but the bomb goes off as shops are being evacuated.
It's an explosion that just goes through your chest. It's such a loud noise. It's over in moments, but it's such a loud noise.
Samantha was working in a bank on the day, and she's still living with the effects of the bomb.
At the time, I had some kind of a trauma that I couldn't remember things. I wasn't as eloquent as I used to be. I keep forgetting things. It affected my hearing, it's affected my neck. But I've just lost my old self and I've never found her.
Among Samantha and her colleagues, 80,000 people were in Manchester that day.
There was a crowd of people being moved, shepherded down Portland Street at that stage, and I have to say there was no sign of panic. In fact, it was almost calm.
A dozen police officers at Bootle Street Station were given the task of keeping them safe.
To think that there was some sort of device in the city centre on that day, with the makeup of what we knew was going on in the city, was quite sobering thought.
Area, go down to Oxford Road, turn left and walk down towards the Phoenix area.
As it detonated, that scene of it actually exploding is just imprinted on my mind forever. A brilliant white flash, immediate inwards and outwards of pressure, and then a huge fireball with a huge mushroom of debris and smoke going up in the air, and then the immediate pressure wave came down Corporation Street. All the windows went in. I'll never forget that scene.
But for some just outside of the cordon, they were unaware of what was about to happen.
We were just working. There was nothing different about a day at all. It was busy, and then there was this massive noise, huge noise, and all the windows just shattered in. 1 minute you're just serving a customer like you do 1,000 times a day, and the next minute the whole shop is in complete chaos, and we just walked the streets with all these sirens going off, with glass covering everything. I mean, the whole of the pavements and the roads were just a sea of glass. It didn't feel like Manchester at all.
Walking through Manchester today, it's hard to imagine what happened on this street 30 years ago, but this postbox stands as a reminder. It survived the blast almost untouched, standing in stark contrast to the destruction that surrounded it, becoming an unlikely symbol of the city's resilience.
Isabel Fry, BBC North West Tonight, Manchester.
And there are images that we won't forget, will they there? And the eagle-eyed amongst you will have spotted in that report a very young-looking Dave Guest, who was, of course, the chief reporter here at North West Tonight for many years. And he was the first reporter on the scene back in 1996. And I spoke with him a little earlier. This is really one of those days where everybody remembers where they were. I can remember being in a park, actually, and hearing the explosion. You were the first reporter there. How did that come about?
Well, basically, I'd gone into Manchester on that Saturday afternoon to do some shopping, and also my daughter wanted to record herself playing the clarinet for a school project. So we nipped into the BBC, because they've got a few soundproof studios, as you know, there. We were recording her playing the clarinet, and we were aware of a thud, but didn't think anything much about it. When we came out of the studio, of course, people were running around the newsroom in a complete panic about what was going on and said to me, get into town now. We'll put your family into a taxi and get them home, but you go straight into the centre of the city now and meet up with the cameraman there. What I always remember is walking down Portland Street and seeing what effectively looked almost like a mushroom cloud of smoke over the Arndale Centre. It was a gloriously sunny day, and the only sound that you could hear were just loads and loads of car alarms and building alarms that had been triggered by the blast. There was a tide of people walking in the opposite direction up Portland Street. There were people in chef's outfits, shop uniforms, shoppers. But of course I was going against the tide towards where the bomb had gone off. Now a sane person might say, well, that was a daft thing to do, because who was to say there wasn't going to be another bomb? But it is that professional thing that kicks in. Obviously you want to be aware of your safety, but you also want to go and see what's happened, because this was clearly a massive story that was going to affect not just Manchester, but the whole of the Northwest, the whole of the UK. Strangely enough, my wife normally, when we went into Manchester shopping, would have made a beeline straight to Marks and Spencer's. Fortunately, that morning, she went into the studio with us whilst we were doing that recording, so thank God she wasn't anywhere near Marks and Spencer's when that happened.
Yeah, indeed, that's really one of those sliding doors moments, isn't it? The piece that we just watched there starts by saying, this was the day that changed Manchester forever. Is that something that you noticed as well over the years?
Well, of course it changed Manchester physically. You know, the devastation was widespread, and Manchester was redesigned as a result of that. Now, sometimes people say, ooh, you know, the IRA did a favour to Manchester. Of course they didn't. They could have killed hundreds of people. But Manchester used it as an opportunity to say, OK, something really terrible's happened. We now need to acknowledge that's happened, but move on and move forward, and that's what the City of Manchester did.
You covered, you know, hundreds, if not more, stories. Where does this one stand in everything that you covered?
I always mention the day the Manchester bomb went off. But, you know, there are, and I'm sure there is in your career, Kelly, as well, there are certain things that you do, and they're not always disastrous things like bombs going off. I mean, I flew on the last Concorde into Manchester now. How many people can say that? And I was being paid to do it. So it's no wonder I used to say working at North West Tonight was like being paid to do your hobby, because every day was different, every day was full of challenges, but every day was, well, maybe not every day was interesting, but the majority of days were interesting, and certainly that day in June 1996 will always stay in my mind.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to talk to us. We miss you in the office. You're looking well. Thank you for your time, and do pop back in and see us if you pass in.
I will do. I will do. Thanks very much.
I hope you do come to see us, Guesty, if you're watching. Right, here are some of the other stories that you can read and watch online this evening from BBC News. On Instagram, Burnley-based period coach Sam Wright has been talking about her programme educating women with the help of backers including Burnley Council and Burnley Football Club. The organiser of the Africa Oye Festival has spoken about the need to get people up dancing for the return of the Liverpool Festival. That's after a fallow year. A Merseyside shopping centre which was evacuated today due to a gas leak has reopened. The Strand in Bootle was closed this afternoon. You can read more about that on the website. And a Cheshire couple who won millions on the National Lottery 10 years ago have been talking to us about how their lives have changed. You can find out more about those stories at bbc.co.uk/local news, on the BBC News app, or of course on the social channels. Now, a breast cancer survivor says specialist hair extensions have helped bring back the sparkle she felt the disease had taken away. This is Laura Rush, who lost her hair during treatment and says even after being given the all clear, she struggled to recognise the person in the mirror. Now, with the help from a hairdresser who retrained to support her, she says she's finally beginning to feel like herself again, as Alex Blake reports from Wallasalla.
For many, what looks like a routine hair appointment. But for mum of three, Laura, it's part of her identity she feared was lost. 18 months ago, her world turned upside down in an instant when she was diagnosed with breast cancer.
It was difficult telling my boys, sitting them down and telling them was the hardest thing I've ever had to do, and that day will haunt me forever. worse than the day that I found out I had cancer.
What followed was months of chemotherapy, surgery and radiotherapy. And after her second round of chemo came another painful moment.
I lost my eyebrows and my eyelashes, I lost everything. So at that point I didn't really care. I was just wearing hair turbans, and I did have some wigs, which I only really wore for the school run and parents' evenings because I just wanted to keep a bit of normality for my kids. I just didn't look like me, and although, yes, that doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, it's just what you feel when you look at yourself in the mirror and you think, who is this person staring back at me, you know?
Hairdresser Taylor remembers the first time Laura came into the salon.
She walked in with this little beanie on and took the beanie off, and I was met with about 2 inches of hair, and I thought, what am I going to do with this? But when she told me a bit of what she'd gone through, I thought, I've got to do something, because I think hair is such a big part of a woman's identity.
In July last year, Laura got the news she was hoping for, the all clear. But her emotional recovery still had a long way to go.
I'd say it was harder afterwards, after I finished treatment and I was ready to get back to me again. But my image and my body and everything wasn't there with it. And so I wanted to take some power back, and I just wanted to be me again when I looked in the mirror. This hair has really helped me do that. And it's been the best thing I've done. It really has.
Alex Blake, BBC North West Tonight, Ballasalla.
Oh, Laura, you look gorgeous. OK, sport now. Ian's here, and no sooner has the football season ended than the World Cup has begun. It means more football, wall-to-wall games for weeks and weeks.
Bad news if you don't like football. Great news for me and millions of others who live for it, frankly. What would make it even better is if England could finally win the World Cup again, 60 years on from our only win to date. But there's plenty of tough opposition. France, Spain, Argentina, Portugal and Brazil, to name but 5, all surely in with a shout. Here, then, is our overview of the greatest sporting show on earth from a predictably Northwest perspective.
England in the last 16. Speaking of which, England's final warm-up game offered some pre-tournament reassurance with the 3-0 win over Costa Rica. In perhaps an indication of their preferred lineup, Everton's Jordan Pickford started in goal, alongside the likes of Manchester City's rising star Nico O'Reilly.
So how do people rate England's chances? We've come to Stockport to find out. It is raining here. Why do we never win the World Cup?
Because better teams keep beating us.
Are England going to do it this time?
Probably not, I don't know. Usually it's a bit of a letdown, isn't it? But hopefully we do well, mate.
Are England going to win the World Cup?
Debatable.
Debatable. There's a chance then.
Knocked them out in the semi-finals of the 2018 World Cup. Remarkably, Croatia have 5 survivors from that squad, including the legendary Luka Modric and Manchester City's Mateo Kovacic. Fellow Blue Joško Gvardiol here joins them in the current lineup.
Croatia used to be a good team, probably not quite so strong as they are today.
So we're going to beat Croatia in the opening game?
We are, definitely, yes.
I think we've got an OK group. I think we'll progress past the groups, but after that, who knows?
Are England going to win the World Cup?
Of course they are.
Right, OK.
There you are.
No Northwest Premier League side is better represented than Manchester City with 17 players. Antoine Semenyo of England's Group L opponents Ghana will surely be one to watch. He scored 11 times after his January move to City, including the FA Cup final winner. And Norway will hope the prolific Erling Haaland can fire them to success. Incidentally, he's now the face of a Chinese herbal drink.
Haaland, ha, Wangachi.
And that's McAllister. Liverpool's 7 representatives include 2022 World Cup winner Alexis McAllister of Argentina, who should again do well.
Complete team goal.
Alisson Becker's Brazil can never be ruled out of contention, and they could face England in the quarter-finals. While Liverpool's Dutch trio, led by captain of club and country Virgil van Dijk, will again be backed by supports like this. Manchester United's 12-man World Cup contingent includes England's Kobbie Mainoo and Marcus Rashford, who's been on loan at Barcelona. Reds captain Bruno Fernandes is there with Portugal, who are among the favourites to win.
England, how do you rate our chances?
We might get to the quarters, semi-final. Hopefully they get to the final. It all depends whether it all gels together, the players, and it gets the system right.
Have you got World Cup fever?
No.
Who's the key player?
There's only one, isn't there? Harry Kane. There's only one, man. He's brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant.
Is he going to win the Golden Boot, you reckon?
I do, definitely.
Everton's Nathan Patterson Scotland play Haiti on Sunday, with Idrissa Gana Gueye and Iliman Ndiaye here with Senegal.
Wide world of sport. Warrington Wolves moved back to the top of Super League last night. Ewan Irwin got the final Warrington tries. It finished 18-6 against St Helens. The Wolves' fourth win in a row meant they leapfrogged Leeds as leaders, but it was a third defeat in a row for fourth place Saints. Tonight, Wigan Warriors are at Wakefield Trinity. And after a rain-delayed start to their County Championship Division 2 match against Kent at Southport today, Lancashire won the toss and chose to field and ending up bowling out their opponents for 178. This was the last of 5 wickets taken by Liam Livingstone on his first County Championship game for 5 years. Excellent catch by Tom Aspinwall too there. Good week for Livingstone, who earlier in the week put on a stunning batting display in the T20 Blast. Now, in reply, Lancashire have limped to 17 for 2 at the close, so trail by 161. Good maths there by our producer, who's written that in for me. And that is the sports. Liam Livingstone, very good there. He comes in every 5 years to county cricket and does that, a bit like you presenting this show, standing in for Annabelle. Good job. Can I just say happy birthday to my mum as well?
Oh, do it.
It's wildly unprofessional of me, but happy birthday, Mum. Happy birthday. There you go.
Happy birthday, Mrs. Hassan. I hope you've got some nicer images in your head of Ian than we've just been privy to with him in a raincoat in Stockport.
Distinguished.
Right, next, we're right up my street. We're talking Annie. Strictly Star Lavoie is appearing in a musical for the first time, and it's just started at the Palace Theatre in Manchester. Tonight's performance is just about to get underway, so we had a chat here at Media City a little earlier. Your character in Annie, for people that don't know, she's not particularly nice to children. How are you finding that side of it?
Well, she's not, and she's gin-soaked and bitter and, you know, everything that I think we deep down don't want to be. Miss Hannigan is all that, and I think she lives and breathes it. I mean, I'll be honest, I'm not really the biggest fan of children. So even though I do pantomime every year, I've not really been a kids person, but so then I thought I'd channel that into Miss Hannigan. However, the kids in the show are just incredible. I mean, I think you just fall in love with all of them when you watch it. They're so talented and they're so brilliant, and they're really the heart of the show. So I do have to be mean to them, but secretly I am loving working with them. It's amazing.
Oh, so they're not too scared of you?
No. Nobody should be a bit more scared, maybe.
And obviously you've been on Strictly, you weren't voted out. We have to remember it was an injury. How's the foot?
Yes, exactly. I have still never been eliminated. The foot is great. I'm wearing a very small 2.5-inch heel from Miss Hannigan, so it's still having chance to repair. But yeah, that was a really sad time to go out with that. But to be back now on stage performing and doing what I think is more my comfort zone, you know, acting and singing and playing a larger-than-life character, because normally I'm quite subtle, as you can imagine. So it's lovely. I'm really enjoying being back on stage, back in the heels and with a nice mended foot.
So you've done Strictly, Annie, North West Tonight.
Well, this is the highlight. The only reason why I did Strictly was to be with you, Kelly, on North West Tonight.
I knew it. That's what they told me. What next for you?
Well, I mean, I've got some very exciting things in the pipeline, which will be announced in a few weeks. Can't say what that is yet. And next year, who knows, I might be touring and back in Manchester.
Oh, well, I can't wait for that. And for people who are going to see Annie, obviously, you don't want to give too much away, but is there a particular highlight for you of the show?
Well, I think people know the story, don't they, Kelly? When it's a give too much, she lives it. It's a happy ending. There's no tragic twist in our Annie. I don't get to, you know, run away and kidnap her. No, it's a lovely, happy show, but it's just a joyous production. We've got real kids and a real dog and me in the show. What could go wrong?
Oh, that sounds like the perfect combination for a bit of a disaster.
The right level of chaos, but no, it's a great show and we're loving it and the audience are loving it, and I'd love to see anyone out there in Manchester who loves the show as a kid come and see it on stage in real life and see an actual child in Annie with a red wig. I did think I was going to be playing Annie, but apparently they wanted someone younger, Kelly. Singing Tomorrow is just such a beautiful, nostalgic moment.
Oh, gorgeous. Well, enjoy the rest of it.
I will. I've got to go back and drinking gin and pretend it's for the work.
It's a tough life.
It's very tough.
I won't make the joke that people might be expecting. I have had It's a Hard Knock Life stuck in my head all day because of that. I wish I was there this evening. I'd love to be going there. I think Ian, by the way, is on the way to the shops. He said he wanted to wish his mum happy birthday because he didn't get her a present.
Oh, ever prepared, isn't he? Always the professional. Yes, happy birthday to Mrs Haslam as well. Let's talk about today's weather because it started off really quite miserably, quite disappointing. We've had some rain about a lot of this week. In fact, some places in the northwest have had nearly 100% of their entire rainfall for this June. But we've ended the day on a really positive note. Plenty of blue skies into this afternoon. Thank you very much for your photos, as always. In terms of this weekend then, things are looking up slightly. It's not going to be wall-to-wall sunshine. We are going to have some bright moments though. We're hoping it'd get a little bit warmer for this weekend, and we did think it would do at the start of this week, but it's looking closer to average temperatures really, but still settled and dry for most of this week. This is how the satellite's looking at the moment, so you can see we do have some late evening sunshine, and that will continue for a time until the sun goes down, and then it'll be clear spells and then some patchy cloud filling in from the north, and by the morning it'll be a largely cloudy outlook. Lows of around 8 degrees Celsius, so a cooler night than last night, so a fresher feel waking up tomorrow, and breezy overnight. That will continue into Saturday. You see those isobars there? Now this little feature here could bring us a little bit of rain tomorrow, but not everyone will see that rain. It will be quite hit and miss, and mostly towards the north. It could drift further south though. But you can see largely quite cloudy out there tomorrow. Some bright spells, probably the best of those towards Cheshire and Merseyside. Slightly cooler in temperature as well tomorrow. Sunday, high pressure starts to build. Again, that doesn't mean there's going to be loads of sunshine. In fact, there's quite a lot of cloud. There'll be bright spells initially, then clouding over, and the best of the brightness towards the end of the day. Slightly up on temperature. Highs of around 19 degrees Celsius, but not as much rain as today, Kelly, thank goodness.
Well, do you know, I'm at a barbecue tomorrow. It's been planned in a while. It's a party. You'd think, you know, middle of June barbecue.
No, I know. It has been particularly rainy for the first bit of June, but things are looking up.
It'll add to the fun. We'll be back after the late news. Enjoy your evening. See you later. Bye.